And that's why I'm so fascinated about doors that open that give you an opportunity to explore. Because even if it's not the thing, it will take you to the thing.
It will. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why we have to always embrace it,
Mhm.
unless God really says to you, "No,
No.
this is wrong."
And you're going to feel that
You're going to feel that
if you have a relationship with God, again, it could be a voice. I'm not saying it will be,
hmm
but you will know. You will
in your spirit.
feel
You
it in your
feel it.
spirit. You're like,
Yeah,
nope,
this is wrong.
not supposed to be here. Not supposed to do. Hi, and welcome back to Voice the Kingdom. I am your host, Natalia Teixeira, and once again, we have Priscilla here today. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And we're going to do a continuation of our previous episode with her. And we're going to go just a little deeper because the story is fascinating. And even though we were friends for a very long time, there were a lot that I learned from. Priscilla's a very private person. So we are invading a little bit of her privacy here today. So, but thank
I
you
love
again.
it. It's
Thank
been
you.
so nice.
I know. No,
So
it's
good.
been so inspiring
Inspiring, I would
because
say.
as you're speaking, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are witnessing the same thing, is I started connecting dots in my life of when you were sharing your testimony. And that's why I think it's so powerful when we share. And I really believe that's the whole purpose of Voice the Kingdom is you give voice to what God is doing in your life. Even
God's
if you don't
doing.
have, like, we're still in the process. Voice in the
Yeah.
Kingdom is just a baby. We don't even know what it is yet. We don't even know if it is a podcast, but we're moving in that direction.
Yeah.
And I think that it just, things that are not talked about in different areas that goes outside of, and I want to sit down with pastors and evangelists and missionaries. There's a part of my life that I see myself as a missionary too,
Yeah,
in a
of
very
course.
different way than
Yeah.
what you would imagine a missionary
Absolutely.
is. But I think that I want this space to be where we can share even when we don't have all the answers. I want it to be very raw. So
Yeah.
that's how I see
Yeah.
this place.
And you do a good job at
Thank
it
you.
and leading these conversations. And I just told you this. I was so impressed by how you move and how you maneuver through the conversation in
Thank you.
such a natural way. It's like a gift to do that.
Thank you. I
So
really
you're
appreciate that.
awesome.
Thank you so much. But I'm fascinated by your story, and I just want to continue because when we were off camera, and that's I already knew when I was coming here that God was doing something, and I wasn't looking for the heavens to open up and a voice to come down and a dove to fly on my shoulder. I was looking for this, and I knew that this quality conversation was going to unravel and give me a lot of breakthrough, even if I didn't have all the answers.
Yeah.
And your story, it really touches me because I find myself very different area in terms of work, but I find myself a little behind you in terms of what you're sharing is where I feel like I'm going into right now. So by you sharing your story, I identify things, even though I have no creative bone in my body. It's not about the creativity, but it's about your journey. And one thing that I didn't mention, and I wanted to know if we could mention, and I think it's important, especially for our women viewers, is your age. If I don't know if you're comfortable with that or not. I just think you're right. And I think that when we are transitioning, I think a lot of us create that concern or anxiety or we worry about, well, yeah, but I'm 40.
Yeah.
And I think that the transition between, oh yeah, I went to college for this and I did fashion for a while, and then how you went into the interior design, to me, that is not how I pictured it. I think we create little stories in our mind how we think someone's life is going.
Pick it up from things here and there, and you form the idea.
The funny thing that you said when we were off camera was, it's so funny talking about it because I didn't connect the dot that it was a conversation with my husband that made me walk in this. It was like he said, well, you're good with colors. Can you just come and consult with a client of mine? And this door opened, and you didn't realize that's how it started until you talked about it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why I'm so fascinated about doors that open that give you an opportunity to explore. Because even if it's not the thing, it will take you to the thing.
It will. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why we have to always embrace it, unless God really says to you, no, this is wrong.
And you're going to feel that if you
feel that.
If you have a relationship with God, again, it could be a voice, not saying it will be,
Mhm.
but you will know. You will
In your spirit,
feel
you
it in your
feel it.
spirit. You're like,
Yeah,
nope,
this is wrong.
not supposed to be here, not supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Right. But what in between the lines when you were talking and all of this unraveling behind the scene
Mhm.
was, I love how at no moment, and I don't know if you thought about this, but at
Mhm.
no moment did you go, "Hmm, I'm a little too not old, but like I
I'm too late.
maybe I'm too late to transition.
Yeah.
Like maybe I should just stick to what I'm good at. Like I already know this, so I should just stick to it because I know it."
Yeah.
Did it ever cross your mind, or were you just, I'm just going to obey?
Mhm.
Did the age thing ever cross your mind?
It didn't, um, but I know that it does for a lot of people.
That's why I wanted
I
you.
don't know why it didn't for me.
That's amazing.
It did not.
It didn't for me
Because think
either,
about
just
it.
so you
I
know.
think because I was so focused on, I still want to be able to live these dreams. I was so focused on what it could be that I was not worried about the time. I was just worried about I got to get there
Mm-hmm.
more than how much time has gone by.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that, and I know that what I did before led me and trained me into interior design,
Okay.
and in a direct way, because fashion and design goes hand in hand. My
Right.
eye was trained for that.
Right.
And so that transition happened when I had been pregnant with Eloise. I was 35.
Okay.
So think about it. I had already been working since I was 22 in the fashion industry. It's
Okay.
quite some time
Yeah.
for you to change
Yeah.
and pivot.
Yeah. That.
These pivots are not easy
Right.
because you're like, wow, what now? That was my whole thing. What now? But it was never like, oh, it's so late. I'm 35 years old. It wasn't that. And through motherhood, through career, and through different stages of life, I've had to pivot other times
Mm-hmm.
after that.
Right.
And as we always do,
Right.
because these pivot happens, and we just have to be flexible.
Wow. No, I love the flexibility. I wanted to ask you that question because I know that there's a lot of people watching that be like, wow, my heart is in maybe in interior design or the other way around in fashion, but I'm 40. So,
Mm-hmm.
so
So,
yeah, like I'm sorry, what does that mean?
yeah,
Right? No,
yeah.
but I wanted to ask that because I thought that was really fascinating that you didn't bring it up.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that was a concern.
Yeah, it
There
wasn't.
was other concerns, but
Yeah,
that wasn't one, and I love
yeah.
that it wasn't.
I love this phase that we've been living. I've been seeing a lot of women that are 50
Yeah,
and transitioning into a different career and thriving.
that's amazing.
Thriving. We mentioned Mel Robbins not too
Yeah.
long ago.
Uh-huh.
Um, at 50,
Yeah.
you know,
Crazy, right?
that's when she started,
Yeah.
and has done fantastic.
Yeah.
It's never late.
No.
You're never late to
No.
anything. Um, we just have to be obedient to what we really feel the
Right.
calling is,
Yeah.
and keep moving forward. And
Yeah.
through mistakes, sometimes, as
Mm-hmm.
we are trying things out, and we talked about this a little bit. We talked about Abraham,
Yes.
how he was given a promise. And within that promise, he's like, okay, how do I go about it now? And he was also trying to figure it out.
Right.
And I said to you, in him trying to help God by conceiving a child, I don't think that he was purposely like, oh, let me help God.
Right.
He was trying to see how this was going to get
Yeah.
fulfilled. And through error,
Yeah.
he made this mistake. But as he was trying, right, to figure it out, and we do that all the
Yeah.
time, and we make those mistakes along the way. None of us have it all figured out.
Correct.
But let me tell you, if you don't try it, you're never going to find out.
That's where we ended. I think our conversation was like, you were moving and God called you and directed you while you were moving. You weren't standing still. And we also ended at the point that you were thriving. You got your first check and you're like, this person is trusting me.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about your experience. If you didn't watch, it's the previous episode. Um, the experience of you walking into this home and you felt like you just needed to let her be open and vulnerable and pray over her, and how that was really how you understood that you were establishing the kingdom through what you're doing. You're being trusted people's home to
Mm-hmm.
create peace, to create this environment, but
Organization.
you also bring the presence
Mm-hmm.
of God, and that's so powerful. And then suddenly you never called yourself a designer. You did a you did a you were building this house for yourself. You this neighbor walks in, asks you to to do a few rooms for them, and then suddenly you start walking in this position, and now you validated yourself as I am a designer,
Mm-hmm.
and then you are thriving.
Mm-hmm.
You pivoted, and you love it. You find
Love it.
yourself loving it.
New clients, new jobs.
Talk did the Da Casa, which is your brand,
Mm-hmm.
Da Casa,
Mm-hmm.
did that come during this beginning season or did it happen after the pause?
After which pause?
This pause
Sorry.
that we're going to talk
Oh,
about
it before.
before. So can you walk us through the brand
Mm-hmm.
and the name, and then take us into this season of obedience and where you had to slow down?
Mm-hmm. So when I first started, I just began under my name, Priscilla Ventura Home Living, and that was
Was that an extension of your husband's company, or that was a completely different,
separate.
separate?
Yeah.
But you guys worked, collaborated.
Yes, we
Okay.
collaborate and we still collaborate with clients, but it's
Separate.
something's totally separate. And I began under that name. And then after a while, I kept saying, this is not the right name. I want something that could be bigger than myself,
Mm,
bigger than my own name.
I love
And
that.
so I just felt that. I
It
said,
has
I
to
don't want it to
continue
be
after you're
attached to
gone.
me,
Yeah.
and then I kept thinking, and this was one of the hardest things I've ever done, was to search for a name that made sense in all aspects. And I said, I want to be authentic to who I am in the name, where I come from. So then I said, has to be in Portuguese, right? Da casa,
Uh-huh.
DACASA, da casa,
Uh-huh.
meaning from my home,
Uh-huh.
of the home.
Of the home.
And so I wanted to translate that almost to like, welcome to my home,
Mm-hmm.
from my home to your home.
Oh, wow.
Because everything I was creating for clients, I did at my home, was first established inside my home.
Right.
The way of designing and learning how to design started in my own home. The ideas began in my home, and the creativity began to flow there. The organization of items began in my own home, and I just wanted to be able to translate that, my heart from my own home to other people's homes.
Oh.
And so Da Casa was born, and from my Instagram, Da Casa by Priscilla.
Uh-huh.
But the brand itself, Da Casa and Company, which hopefully one day will encompass more than just interiors, Da Casa
Mm-hmm.
Interiors.
Mm-hmm.
And so today there is, the Casa Interiors, which I do work for clients, and Da Casa by Priscilla showcases everything that I do in terms of my own home and what I do for others and others' home, and my
Understood.
lifestyle under that page.
Wow.
Um, so that's
Okay.
how I've set that
Wow. I
up.
love that. I love
It
that.
took a while to get there.
I love that.
Yeah.
And talk to us a little bit about where you then pivoted and you're thriving. And I see it because I've been following you and I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. And I love to see the before and after. I love to see the processes even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a period in your life where you moved completely. You went from one state to another
Mm-hmm.
and you slowed down.
Just 2 years ago.
Yeah. And how was that? Because I know you personally and I
Mm-hmm.
know you are not a woman, and not this is not like the independent feminist conversation. That's not what it is. But you were always a woman who was independent in terms of, I like to work. I feel useful. There's a person who loves it, who
Loves it.
loves the grind,
I
who
feel
loves
called to
you
do
you and
something.
it gives you that
Mm-hmm.
that energy, that life.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I have to go to work
Yeah.
today. No, it's like, I want to. How, when you are that person where you love what you do, and that brings you life, and that brings you joy, and that almost becomes a part of your identity, right? Like,
Yeah.
you and I'm still learning this, where I know my identity is not what I do.
Yeah.
There's no way to kind of say that that's not a little part of it. It shouldn't be, because when that's stripped away, you need to know who you are. And this is a conversation we were having yesterday, where I know who I am. I especially know who I am in Christ. I know what I'm good at. But right now, that's why I wanted to talk about the age thing. I'm the age doesn't bother me. I'm at an age where I feel like, okay, I'm at the half point of my life, and I feel like the Lord is transitioning me.
Yeah.
But I feel a little lost in this transition. How is the reverse of that? God transitioned you, and you're now, even though you were working in fashion, now you even get to collaborate with your life partner, which is amazing. I work with my husband, and I love that. Our relationship thrives through that.
So good.
And it's exciting. I love to have these conversations with him during the day, and throw in I love you or joke.
Yeah.
I love that. And I see you guys do that too. How is it that you collaborate with your husband, you're thriving, and you're good at it, and finally you're being recognized? And not, when I say finally, not that you were in, finally, in, I'm building this business that is being seen,
making a name.
or you're making a name, and then suddenly you feel that you need to slow down. How was understanding? I think understanding was fast, because we talked about motherhood, and that's your first ministry. So Priscilla has 3 children.
Yes.
Three
little ones.
3 little ones. And but talk to me about understanding that you needed to slow down, accepting, and finding your identity. Not finding your identity. I don't know how to word it, because you know who you are. That was never an issue.
Finding the security in that.
Finding the finding, because the conversation we were having off camera was, I feel lost. I was talking to you, and you said, that's how I felt when I moved here. I kind of needed to understand where I stood. So I don't know the word.
Totally.
I don't know what the word is for that, because it's not identity, because you know who you are. But how did you find your place, or your purpose in the season? Your purpose in the season. How was, so okay? It's a mini. I have a lot. Okay, I need to slow down. A lot of questions. Let's start with number one.
Yeah.
Number one is the pivoting again, slowing down again. How was that? Walk us through it, people that don't know.
Pivoting is always hard. I don't think that there's nothing ever easy about it. Before I left New York, I had some great projects under my belt that I felt really proud of, and just felt really accomplished to even be able to land them. One of the projects that I did with my husband in specific had won Best Built of 2023.
That's amazing.
In an entire category of homes between designers and architects.
That's amazing.
It was like fantastic.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Did you not post that?
No.
Why?
No, wait, did I post it? I might have, but it might have been subtle in a way.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So to get like that honor amongst many designers and architects, and for people to showcase that home, is amazing. And so I then began to work with people I admire. Wanted to collaborate with me on projects, and so things started to happen, right? That little place, that little door that my husband opened up, do you want to come do this? All of a sudden, I'm finding myself being extremely fulfilled, understanding that this is my gifting, understanding that my gifting is blessing people, And now it's getting recognized and I'm getting other jobs from it. It was really amazing place to be. And then between me and my husband, we decided that we were going to transition to Florida. We had been for the last couple of years just tired, of the busyness of the lifestyle. Our little kids, always home in the winters. The winters was getting to me, so there was a couple of things there. And so we're just like, let's just test it. We're so young, why not, right? And I simply just thought, this is easy. I will maintain my New York clients. I'll keep, doing bids here as needed and keep working here. I already know everything. I already have a whole team set up. And then I'll also begin a branch in Florida. I'll start making new contacts and it'll be great. And so all the plans set in, and then we land here. And my husband, you know, being the main breadwinner of the home, and having huge responsibilities with a much bigger company than mine in New York, had to go back and forth. And we knew we were going to do that. We had already established that he was going to go back and forth. And as needed for my clients, I would go back and forth. But then sometimes you only find out how hard things is when you're in the moment. And as soon as I saw Rodrigo gone for every week out of the year, he was gone Monday through Friday, and he would come back Friday afternoon or evening. I kept saying to myself, I have the load of the house all on me right now, the kids, the administration of my household. How the heck am I even going to take on clients? I said, it's impossible. I couldn't even see it. My day was so busy here with the kids and navigating new things, finding new doctors, this, and that, all of this stuff happening at once. I didn't even have time to pay attention to think about how am I even going to build a career here because I was so busy with life. And that happens to all of us, where life gets bigger and you just have to take a pivot.
Wow.
And so there was jobs that started coming in New York, and then I would talk to Rodrigo and I would just entertain it almost like a test, right? Rodrigo, so this job came in. What do you think? But I already knew the answer. How am I going to handle that?
Wow.
Just couldn't. Um, and the thing was, my husband was gone for so long out of, out of the month. He was gone for so many days. I said, if I do the same, my household is going to suffer. My family is going to suffer. So this is not the time for me to be worried about what's the next job. This is the time for me to find roots again, for me to stabilize, for me to feel grounded, for me to set up our home in a way that my kids feel protected because their dad is gone.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't be gone. They're going to feel it. They already feel it that their dad's gone. And so this is the time where I need to really embrace my home and create that security. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart. And Rodrigo said to me when in one of these questions that I am, right, just trying to feel him out when I already know the answer. And I got frustrated when he said no to one of my jobs. And I said, I think I can do it. And he's like, you cannot. You cannot. And he's like, Priscilla, I'm not asking you to turn off the car and for it to die. I am asking you, take the foot off the accelerator, step on the brake, and then there'll be a time where you can accelerate again. So it's a pause. It's not it's done, a dead end. And so that hit me like a ton of bricks because I said, oh, here we go. Me again, having to pivot and slow down and start again. And I don't know how or when I would pick it back up and how to do it, how to make this work.
And this wasn't a conversation before, this was a conversation while you guys were here
Yeah,
because it
because
because it became reality.
we didn't think it was going to be that difficult. I thought that we would be able to manage
Mm-hmm.
um, doing both. And,
Right.
sometimes he's here and then I would go and check in on clients and projects. Um, it
But
became only feasible for a small number of clients,
uh-huh.
meaning the clients I already had
Uh-huh.
and projects I was in the middle of it, that was doable because they had already been, ongoing
Mm-hmm.
and things were really almost all done. It was doable. Or even like new small projects for my existing clients could probably do because I had already established those relationships. They knew I was here. But for any new clients, any new projects that would come with a brand new set of expectations, I couldn't do because I wouldn't know what it would require of me
Right.
and how much I would need to be present.
And that could have easily I'm thinking back about my choices in certain things where I was when I went wrong. You could have easily sacrificed and just continued because, well, you have this business, you have to fight for the business.
Mm-hmm.
You were sensitive enough to be like, no, my family, my house, my children come
Come
first.
first.
But let's talk about what no one talks about, even
Mm.
though that seems like the right and honorable,
Decision,
admirable
right?
decision.
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel in your gut? The true feeling that you had as an individual, not as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
not I mean not as a woman, but not as a wife and not as a mother, as a woman
Mm-hmm.
that with the help of God established this.
Mm-hmm.
How did it feel? Did it feel like you
Frustration.
were giving up? Did it actually feel like you were giving up?
Felt like I was giving up. It felt like that pause could cost me, where now my work could no longer feel interesting and things could die down, momentum could die down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would have to start from the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so frustration and in the process, you begin doubting yourself, feeling how capable you are of doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
You lose momentum, and it almost feels like that kick that you had has been taken away from you. You feel like, can I do it again? Am I even good enough to like redo it and to restart?
Did you take it to the Lord and share
Um,
your heart? Or you just knew this is what I had to do?
I knew this is what I had to do. It was just crystal clear. It's like, if I do this differently, I'm going to sacrifice my family.
Wow.
And I said, if I could focus more here and in doing some things here, then that's manageable. But starting things here in Florida would also require time because they were not going to happen overnight.
Right.
Nobody knew me.
Right.
It's one, work that you're doing up north is one thing. You're adapting to a whole different game here too,
Oh yeah.
in construction, in design, um, everything you're adapting. And for people to grow a liking to your style also takes time,
Oh
right?
wow.
For people to find you the same way they found me before. And in that process, I knew there would be a waiting period, and that waiting period just like kind of crushed me. Like, how long is this going to take
Right.
again?
But I believe that's to name it from hearing it from this side,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like the cost of obedience.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't like to talk about that a lot,
Yeah.
right? It sounds very pretty on paper, even when you write a book, but
Yeah.
when you're literally going through
Living
this
through
right
it.
now.
You're living because everything in your body wants to keep going.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to lose momentum. I'm
Yeah.
going to stay behind. I don't want to lose momentum.
So when you came and there was the whole situation of readapting to a whole different state, a whole different lifestyle of life,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the transition already, right?
Yeah.
New York, north, south.
South.
And then that's already hard
Yeah.
with three.
3 kids.
And then losing the momentum and pivoting and slowing down this thing that you're really good at and that you really love. talk to me a little bit about that, the feeling of, again, it's not the loss of identity, because that
Mm-hmm.
I feel it. That was never an issue for you,
Mm-hmm.
but that maybe loss of purpose or misplaced purpose.
Yeah.
How are you? How was that, and how are you dealing with that?
Well, I'm going to go back to a year and a half ago,
Okay.
right? So I've been here for 2.5 years, almost three.
I
Yeah, time has flown. So about a year and a half ago. And this is where we can make a mistake. And I made a mistake. I made a big mistake. In that, okay, I no longer am taking clients in New York. I have some jobs that I'm still closing on. So it's sprinkled.
can't.
Feeling lack of purpose, reestablishing myself. And I'm like, well, maybe I could just, Rodrigo and I can just take a project here and this is how we can get started. Okay. I mean, on paper, as you're saying, it's a good idea. This is what we always used to do, right? We've been doing this for the last God knows how many years, buying a home, remodeling it, living in it and flipping, or just outright just selling it. This is our game. This is what we do. And in my impatient season of wanting to produce something, wanting to do something, I said, let's find a project. Let's do something. We can flip another home. But it wasn't the time. It wasn't the time. And because I've always had such a good eye for like finding homes, Rodrigo really trusts my instinct. Because every project we've done together, I have found the property, I have had the vision, I have designed the home, and we've been able to sell it really well. And so he trusts my gut when I say, this is it. But I think I was moving for the wrong reasons.
Oh, wow.
I was moving in that place of I I need to produce, I need to do something. I can't not have something happening right now, you know? And I we bought this property and it was a disaster from day one
Wow.
because number one, we needed time to adapt
To the move.
to the move, time to adapt and know people, to understand the
How people work
construction,
here.
understand how people work.
Mhm.
There was so many intricacies that we were not familiar with yet. But in the anxiousness of wanting to produce something and do something so I'm not doing nothing,
Mhm.
I jumped on that. And it costed us a lot.
Oh, wow.
A lot of peace of mind,
Mm.
a lot of money.
Mm.
So a lot of things it costed us. We as a couple dealt with this a lot better than we would have in past situations because we just have much more resilience at this point. We even through a mistake, we are able to look at it and say, what are we learning from this? What did we do wrong? So we have paid to learn a lesson.
Mm.
This was school. So we paid for school. Wow. And so this was our school. So what are we extracting from it? Because I don't want to have to repay for this course. And that's how we looked at it.
Okay.
And even in the middle of this project and having lost money through this project, which was the first project we ever lost money on,
Oh, wow.
we were able to extract the lesson and move forward in peace. But in the conversation now, that's the download that I am really seeing, was because we talked about that time of patience and waiting and how do you do it, how do you find purpose. And then I I remembered I was trying to find purpose through doing that house,
Oh,
so I
wow.
wouldn't be not doing anything.
You
That
needed to
was it.
find
That was,
you needed to find a narrative. You needed to feel useful in the story
mhm.
of like I can't just be home, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And then through that lesson, you understood that you really needed to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And how was finding purpose and kingdom in that?
Finding purpose.
Because I'm going to tell you based on me, when I had my children are grown, but when I had both my children, I love them. They're
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember looking at that and in the sense of I'm a mother and I wasn't fully fulfilled
Mm-hmm.
in being a mother. I said I can't just be a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know the weight that carried
Mm.
because I was too young.
Right.
But I don't want to use that as an excuse because there's people that are very young and understand. And
Yeah,
I didn't. I
you
was
didn't.
insensitive.
Mm-hmm.
But I selfishly could not find full purpose in being just a mother.
Mm.
And I say it with no filter because I think people think it's a taboo to say it. And I think I was wrong because
Mm-hmm.
that's my first ministry. And if I do
Mm-hmm.
that right,
Mm-hmm.
I could be raising the next president of the United States. I can be
Mm-hmm.
raising the next
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther King. I can be raising someone who will impact the
The
world.
world
And
and the kingdom in such a way.
I didn't understand how valuable it was because I was selfish.
Yeah.
And I wondered, and this is the first time I'm talking about it actually, if
Mm-hmm.
anyone else felt like me.
Oh yeah.
Was I just crazy enough to say this out loud, or did anyone else felt like I can't just
I
be
think
home?
many women think that.
Do they?
Yeah. The first year I was home with Liam was really hard. I was in the fashion industry at that point, and I had him, and then I started getting jittery. Like, I have to go back to work. And now that I'm thinking about it, was the same thought that came to my mind while I was here in this transition.
Oh
When I
wow.
took the pause, it was I'm gonna stay behind.
Wow.
It was the same thought.
And where did you find clarity and peace and knowing no, I'm not?
I think I'm still finding clarity and
I
peace.
love that. I love that
Yeah,
honesty.
I am not. I haven't figured it out 100%. I just I just understand that this is a season for me to take care of my household and my family, get really rooted, you know? And that's why I labeled, like, when we bought this home and I got a chance, because we were renting when we came here, and then we bought this home, and then I said, we have to renovate it. And so, that brought that excitement of creativity again.
Right.
I was doing this for my family again, and it's been like a beautiful process. And I always label my projects, and I labeled this project Casa Rooted to Rise, because we're getting
Wow.
rooted so we could rise again. And it takes time.
Yeah.
First it's getting rooted. It's understanding the soil. It's understanding where God is taking you. It's to get rooted, you have to take care of the plant. You have to take care of the tree. It requires seed, it requires water, it requires sun, it requires time.
Time.
So rooted to then rise.
Wow. That's so
So that was a
powerful.
marker here for this home. We're going to do this. I'm going to do this for my family. I'm glad God gave me an escape, right, of creativity in the middle of all of this. But it's also about finding that every day now with my kids and my home, and being okay with, yeah, there's not a whole lot of projects that are exciting happening,
Mm-hmm.
but this can be so exciting.
It is. I have to say because I've been here visiting for 3 days, and I told you this off camera, and I want to register this here. I said I feel the essence of God in your home,
Mm.
and I think that's why I wanted to sit with you and share because you've done all these things. You won a reward on
Mm-hmm.
best built. And I don't think you talked about that enough. I think you
Mm-hmm.
should go back and share that. But you did all these things to then quiet down.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the same thing. I've done such amazing
Yes,
things.
and you went to a quiet season.
And then the Lord is like, go back into your home, go fix that drawer.
Wow.
And I was so humbled, but I'm like,
Wow.
but I've built this and I've done that,
That.
and I do international work, and I, and the Lord is like, I just need you to go fix that drawer that you have manuals in there of refrigerators that you don't even have in your house
You
anymore. It's like
no
10
longer
years old.
have all old
And
menus.
I am learning to find the beauty, and that is, I think there is no greater authority and no greater admiration than a woman who walks in obedience and hears God.
Yeah.
To me, I don't care if you won an Emmy, a Golden Globe, a Nobel Prize, that means
Yeah.
nothing if you don't have the essence. To have the essence of God in your home,
Yeah.
inside a drawer, you open it and you see, wow, look at
There's
that.
care, there's
It's not, and
organization here.
I'm not an organized person. I
Mm-hmm.
have to train myself to be. I have
Mm-hmm.
to force myself to be in that place. And I know that that
Mm-hmm.
comes naturally to a lot of people
Yeah.
like you. You're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't to me.
Yeah.
And to be taken to a place where you've done all these great things and that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Lord's like, go into your home.
Yeah.
And I, if it was a different season, I probably would have gone in
Mm-hmm.
obedience,
Mm-hmm.
but complaining
Complaining. Yeah.
and just unhappy
Yeah.
and pouting. But I am seeing the beauty every day, and to walk in obedience and to listen.
Mm.
To me, there's nothing better.
There's nothing
And I
better.
think that's exactly what I see here, I
Yeah.
see in your life.
Yeah.
And that's just where we learn to move like that. He trusts us with much
More.
greater things that
It's much more.
we couldn't even fathom.
Couldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And you just have to keep moving in that really sensitive spirit. And that's what God continues to whisper to me, not only through people's home, inside of people's home, inside my home. What is God whispering? Because He's always talking.
Mm-hmm.
And, we always pray these really big prayers. God, I want to fulfill your purpose. I want you to lead me. Yeah, He
Mm-hmm.
continues to whisper what He wants us to do and how He's guiding us and how He's growing us and stretching us and prepping us for things that we don't even know it's coming.
Yeah.
These quiet seasons, these seasons of getting rooted, there's a purpose in that,
Mm-hmm.
right? To beautifully rise for something else that we didn't even know.
Right.
And if it doesn't, in time things will happen.
Right.
We just have to really, trust the process. God is so perfect in the way that He orchestrates things. And so um, it's easy for us as humans to get really impatient.
Mm-hmm.
But understanding His timing and being really patient with it causes you a lot less anxiety and a lot more fulfillment.
Yeah.
Having a level of gratitude, no matter what season we're in, just makes everything um, a whole lot clearer,
Yeah.
and that makes our heart a lot more content
Yeah.
in what we're living in. And that's how I feel in this season now. 2026, God gave me a word, and it was the word alignment.
Wow.
And I have been feeling Him saying to me, alignment in all areas of my home. With my kids, what does alignment look like? More time. It's being attentive. It's being more present. With my husband, I feel like He's aligning me in this season. And I'm just really looking forward in 2026 with hearing Him speak and seeing where He'll take me
Mm-hmm.
from here.
Mm-hmm.
But my heart is, God, I just want to do what I'm called to do within this season and be content.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rush the process. I don't want to make another big mistake,
Yeah.
you know? Um,
Wow.
so
That
I
was
feel
so
like
strong.
you've been in that same
Mm.
season, and getting pulled out of it now and awaken again, where things are starting to become a little clearer. Um, it's never easy, but as women, we have different responsibility than our husbands.
Oh, yeah.
We have to do certain shifts that sometimes our husbands might not be required to. Their shifts can look entirely different.
Absolutely.
You know, wanting it or not, our household is our mission.
Yeah.
It is a big mission field, and it's the primary.
I've
and we
been learning
cannot
that.
forget that.
And I want to say something that could be shameful, even embarrassing, but I want to say it because there's probably a lot of women who need to hear this. It took me almost 20 years to be in that place where my house for about 19 years was not my priority. And that was wrong. So, like, it's never too late. Obedience has a price. And if you need to go backwards, then you're gonna have to go backwards in order to fix it. And it took me a long time to understand this is my first jewel. I think I was seeking so much validation from outside of the home. And I shared a prayer card that my daughter wrote the other day for you. And to me, it was like, okay, I got it right. I finally got it right. Where my home is a reflection of who I am, even internally. So if you open that drawer, it has to be a reflection of how my mind is and who I am, and it has to carry the essence of Jesus, the essence of God. And He's not in a disorganized home. He's not, right?
He's a God of organization.
Yeah.
He is.
And that's why I needed to sit with you and share a little bit of your story, because I've learned so much from you in these last few days.
Oh, I've learned so much from you.
And I think that these are the conversations that need to be here, because they're not conversations about Nobel Prizes and but it's the things that I think a lot of women need to hear, and sometimes they're not at the right tables to hear that.
Yeah, they're honest, heart-to-heart conversations.
Yeah.
You said something really important. Sometimes we're not at the right table to hear it.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah, because we're sharing all these amazing things that we're doing, right? And then when sometimes the conversation needs to be like, how does your drawer look like? And it's not about the actual drawer, but it's about like, what's going on in here?
Yeah, sometimes it's not pretty.
How does your house reflect you and what Jesus gave you? And that was a conversation that the funny thing is that I had with and I spoke about that 2 episodes ago. This was, I'm here fasting and seeking God, right? For like this really big decision and really gigantic decision that will change my whole life. Everything, the whole structure of my family. And the Lord is like, go clean that drawer. And I'm like, but Lord, I need to know this. And He goes, no, go clean that drawer. And I'm like, fasting, I'm hungry, and you're telling me about a drawer?
To do the most basic of basic things.
And I understood. Well, I'm still understanding. I'm like, okay, I was doing it all wrong. Yeah. And I'm happy. I get a little frustrated that it took me so long. And my prayer this year is like, Lord, let me get it faster.
Speed me up.
Yes. Accelerate me.
Accelerate me.
Yeah. But thank you. Thank you for, because I know it's not easy conversations. I know these sometimes are more private conversations. So thank you for allowing us in your home. Thank you for allowing to share something that I didn't even know.
Yeah, but if it blesses one person out there, if one person,
it blessed me.
Amazing already, right? So just to have that conversation, and if anyone else is in this in these seasons that we are talking through, and they can find inspiration, and they can find the courage and inspiration to keep on going, it's already such a reward. Even though they're sensitive in private conversations, if it becomes a blessing to someone else, it's already such a win.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I hope you enjoy this conversation. Please share with us if it all made sense to you, and if you're in a season of your life where you feel like you need to pivot, or you need to slow down, or you even need to go backwards to fix a few things. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, God bless you.
God bless you.
Great, we did it!
Nachi, you're the next Mel Robbins.